Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is World News. My name is Esther Mwachiko. First of the top stories. Electricity Act fallout, Genco's discos rage as states begins tariff cuts. In another development, IG vows action as ex-police officers protest nationwide. Senate to hold special session for late Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday. Drama as security bars Natasha from entering National Assembly. Kwankwaso visits presidential villa, shuns reporters. In another development, Wike backs Okpebholo on Peter's security clearance. Also, Senate, in another development, is to hold a session for late Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. More states have announced plans to reduce electricity tariff in their jurisdiction after the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission issued a new tariff order to Main Power Electricity Distribution Company, revising the electricity cost for Band A customers from 209 kilowatts. Now, this was, however, vehemently opposed by power generation and distribution companies who claim that the move may cripple the sector, as the Gencos declared that the industry is indebted to power producers to the tune of over 5 trillion naira. As the Gencos and Discos attacked Enugu State over its move on Monday, the state insisted on its decision, stressing that it followed all required processes to arrive at the new 160-kilometer power tariff for Band A consumers. The power firms kicked against the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission's planned cut of Band A electricity tariffs, warning that the decision relies on questionable subsidy assumptions and poses serious risks to the country's fragile power sector. In a statement issued on Monday by the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji, the Genco stated that the tariff revision sets a precedent for all other states and fails to reflect the true cost of electricity generation. Recently, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission disclosed that 7 states now control their electricity markets in accordance with the Electricity Act 2023. The states are Enugu, Ondo, Ekiti, Imo, Oyo, Edo, and Kogi. Other states include Lagos, Ogun, Niger, and Plateau and are expected to complete their transitions between now and September. Meanwhile, retired police officers under the contributory pension scheme on Monday marched from the National Assembly and shut the main gate of the force headquarters in Abuja for hours, demanding that the police be removed from the scheme, which they say has trapped them in poverty. The elderly ex-officers refused repeated pleas to disperse until they secured a meeting with the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Egbetokun. Facing the protesters, Egbetokun expressed sympathy and insisted he was not opposed to the police exiting the CPS if that would solve the problem, but stressed the decision lay beyond any one Inspector General. He said he had been engaging top government officials, including the National Security Advisor, on ways to improve police retirees' welfare and cautioned the crowd against being used by outside interest. The Abuja showdown capped a wave of coordinated agitations as retirees in Edo and Kwara State also protested, branding the CPS a killer scheme. In Oyo, however, Take It Back activists staged a solidarity demonstration over poor police welfare, even as local retirees stayed away. Organizers across the states recalled that the push to quit the CPS dates back to 2014, yet promised reforms remained unfulfilled. In Abuja on Monday, the retired cops blocked the main gate of the force headquarters. Meanwhile, the Senate has announced plans to hold a special session in honor of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari. Senate President Godswill Akpabio during Tuesday's plenary said the special session would hold on Wednesday. He noted that the tribute session will reflect on his legacy and contributions to national development following his recent demise. Last week, the Federal Executive Council held a special session in honor of the late ex-president. At the event on Thursday, President Bola Tinubu said that Buhari led the country with restraint remains governed with dignity and bore the burdens of leadership without complaint. Buhari, as you do know, died in London on July 13 after a prolonged and undisclosed illness. He was buried last week in Dauda, Katsina State, in a ceremony attended by dignitaries from within and outside Nigeria. The Katsina-born politician was president between 2015 and 2023. He was also the head of state between 1983 and 1985. Meanwhile, the Senate has debunked various reports claiming that it has been approved the creation of new states in Nigeria. Reacting to this rumor during plenary today, Akpabio clarified that the Senate Committee on Constitution Review has received numerous proposals, saying none has reached the stage of approval. Now, there was drama at the entrance of the National Assembly complex in Abuja today as security operatives barred suspended Kogi Central lawmaker Senator Natasha Akpotha-Uduaghan from gaining access to the premises. The senator arrived at the gate accompanied by activist Aisha Yusufu, right advocate Mama P, activist Randy, and a crowd of supporters, but was denied entry by security officials. Yusufu, in a bid to intervene, confronted the officers stationed at the gate and challenged the order allegedly issued to block Natasha's entry. The standoff quickly escalated as some supporters began chanting push while attempting to force their way in. Natasha's supporters were later seen marching towards the complex. Speaking to journalists after being denied access to the Senate chambers, Akpotha-Uduaghan expressed deep frustration with the Senate leadership, especially given a recent court ruling in her favor. The senator raised two major concerns: the heavy police presence and the Senate's alleged defiance of a court order. Akpotha-Uduaghan also addressed what she called a deliberate attempt to misrepresent the court ruling in the media. Meanwhile, in a very recent development, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is currently meeting with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, and the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ekperikpe Ekpo. While others meeting include the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji. The meeting is taking place today at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Although the agenda of the meeting has not been made public yet, but a source recently told correspondents that it was a routine meeting where ministers and people occupying sensitive positions regularly briefed the president on activities in their various offices. The ministers, the CBN governor, and the FRS boss came separately. Recall that 4 tax bills recently signed into law by President Tinubu are expected to take effect from January 2026. However, VOP News gathered that the FRS boss will brief the president on issues surrounding the effective implementation of the laws. The CBN is also expected to brief the president on issues concerning the country's fiscal and monetary policies. The Ministers of Finance and that of Budget and Economic Planning are also expected to brief the president on economic issues. Meanwhile, Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, has backed Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo over his recent remarks directed at Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. Speaking today during the inauguration of the new Edo Line transport service in Benin City, Wike cautioned politicians against politicizing issues of security and governance. Governor Okpebholo had at a rally in Benin on Friday warned that Obi must seek security clearance before visiting the state. He also alleged that Obi's last visit, during which he donated 15 million naira to a nursing school, was followed by unrest that resulted in the death of at least 4 people. Let's take a listen currently to Wike at the gathering today addressing the visit of Peter Obi to Edo State, where he called and said literally what Okpebholo did was actually right.
It's not easy. As a leader, you're a dustbin. People will throw all kinds of things on you. If you're not a governor, nobody will be abusing you. But because you're the governor, that's why every time they will talk one thing or the other. I've watched on television of recent unnecessary debates. And that is why I say Nigerians forget history. When I was governor, when Peter Obi was coming to my state, he notified me that he was coming to my state. I provided logistics, vehicles for him to use. Because at that level, as a profile and presidential candidate, governor is responsible because he knows a coalition member is coming. So, Governor, you are right. You are right. If the man said he will listen to you, it's okay. You've done your own work. You don't need to bring people play to the gallery. This is not where a presidential candidate will be carrying to serve food. No, no, no. And you know, this is pretense. How long will you be serving the food? How long? As a president, you will carry food and be serving. And then Nigerians are laughing. Oh, humble. Who told you that humility? Who told you that? And you people give audience to that kind of a thing. And somebody will be telling you, as a presidential candidate, when I win as a president, I will use commercial plane. And you think he's telling you the truth. Which security will allow you? Which? We must tell ourselves the simple truth. And then, Mr. Joy, this man is humble. Nigerians, you like people who play you while you. You don't like people who will tell you the simple truth. When he was governor, was he serving food? Now because election is coming, I want to serve. Go and listen to him now. Go and listen to him. So, don't bother yourself. Stand firm. In any decision you have taken, stand firm. If they don't talk about you, then you're not the governor.
All right, that was Jason Wike speaking right there concerning the talk about Peter Obi no longer having access in Edo State without telling the governor of the state. Wike backed what Okpebholo said, citing credible reasons. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into a news analysis segment with Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, where we get to dive into a couple of the stories right out on the World News at 6. Do kindly stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. I'm currently being joined via the telephone with Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, good evening and thank you for joining us today.
Good evening and thank you for having me, Esther.
Yes, good evening. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, earlier today, Natasha Akpoti, the senator representing Kogi Central, based on the court order, wanted to go have access to the National Assembly to represent her people. She was in that space with Aisha Yusufu, a lady called Mama P, Sarah Ibrahim, and a couple of other supporters as well. And she was heavily barricaded from gaining entrance into the National Assembly. However, we heard that later she was given entrance or access to the National Assembly despite the denial. But she came out to say that Godswill Akpabio is the worst Senate president ever in this part of the world. And a lot of Nigerians have reacted. There's been a backlash on what transpired today. They feel that it's a rape of the country's democracy. Under this administration, a lot of brigandage is carried out and no one is calling it out. Court orders are not respected. It's flouted and nothing happens. Even if contempt of courts is issued to any individual, they don't obey it. How would you react to this development?
Esther, in as much as I do not agree with what the Senate did, I think there is no judgment for Natasha to return to the House.
All right, please explain.
The judgment is incorrect. The judgment was badly written, or maybe deliberately so. It was written in a way that is ambiguous. Okay. Not the way a manner judgment should be written. You see, if you are writing a judgment, what they would do, what they are required to do, is firstly you evaluate the evidence before the court. In the process of evaluation, you make your findings from it. Then you will now come to the conclusion by giving your order. So what do I mean by that? Just like what you see in that judgment, wherein the court said the suspension of Natasha was not proper, was against the law, was this and that. That's our findings. So after that has been done, it is incumbent on the judge to say, based on the above, I hereby order or direct that the Senate should recall the Natasha, or that Natasha should return to the House forthwith. What do we have in that judgment? The court said the Senate has the power to sanction their member, and I believe that the Senate should recall her. It's a belief. That was what he gave. He didn't give an order. The court give an order. Court don't do belief is not an order. Belief is not a belief or opinion. It's not an order, of course. That's an opinion. When you have an opinion, when you form an opinion as a judge, that opinion must lead to what will form your order. And that's what we call, that opinion or belief or finding or reasons why you give a decision is what we call a extra decidendi. Reason for the decision. So what the judge did was just to condemn or the only clear order in that judgment, that what they call judgment, is that order relating to Natasha to pay what's it called? For contempt, which for me, I also believe that order was not properly made. Not properly made. It said that there was no basis for that judgment, for that order. There was no basis for a court to come to a conclusion to make an order. There must be an application to that effect for contempt, or if it's a contempt inside the court, the person cited must be made to face trial within the court, inside the court, and immediately. Not such happened. There was no motion from the other side to say she has disobeyed the court order of the court, and therefore the court should sanction her. Even if there are order, if you look at the first paragraph or second paragraph or first paragraph of that judgment, the court said all applications except objection summons, primary objection, are hereby struck out. Which means there's nothing. Which means there's no motion for contempt. If I thought they had a motion before, which means if I thought they have a motion for contempt, it's been struck out. So that I can't make it. So I have my reservation for that judgment is not properly made. Regarding the court, the judge did not make any order. He only expressed a belief and opinion, and that's not a judgment. Belief and opinion is not a judgment. The judgment must be direct, must be certain. It must be with full authority. It's either because you have made it clear. So I hereby direct that Natasha should return to the House forthwith, or I hereby direct that the Senate should recall her immediately or within a social period of time or whatever. There's nothing like that in that judgment, and that's why the Senate tried to hide their mischief or what they don't even have the intention of recalling her. Even Natasha too, is aware that they will not allow her entrance today. He was just there to make that show. That's not the truth. Unfortunate that what happened. Unfortunate that we have a kind of judgment. The court did not stand well to stand on its right position and find prompt decision that can be enforceable. The judgment as it is not enforceable. As far in my own opinion, you can have any other person can have a different opinion. That's my opinion. That's my understanding of it. I have read the judgment. The first paragraph. Not first paragraph. I don't even know what to call it. Bad judgment or affidavit. The way it was written, it was not the way a judgment should be written, as far as I'm concerned. And even if that judge, if a law student is asked to an exam to write judgment, and he decides to write it in that manner, and it's given to the person who delivered that judgment, that person will fail that student. So that's just to tell you that it was not properly done. With due respect.
All right. So if that was the case, then
that's the basis of the confusion. Yeah. The Senate did not violate any order, as far as in my own opinion. Even though, like I said, I do not agree that a sanction was properly done in line with the rule. But notwithstanding, as much as they are in court, the order of court must be followed, and in this case, there was no any proper order in my own understanding.
All right. In as much as that was the case, then if that, according to you, if that order wasn't properly put together, or if the order wasn't properly put in context, or it was deliberately written in such a way for it to be confusing, she has her own legal representative. They must have interpreted that judgment for her to have taken herself to the National Assembly today to say she wants to represent her constituents. So, is it that her legal team did not get it right, or she did not get it right? And if you also have a question concerning the legal judgment, the judgment from the court, then where is this confusion coming from?
I have just told you and that's why I deliberately, when I was saying in my own opinion, my own belief, but I know other people will have a different position from my own, and they are also lawyers. In fact, I know in that team they are senior advocate of Nigeria, but that does not matter. The fact that you are a senior advocate of Nigeria does not mean you know law than another person. It's just a privilege. So it does not mean that a senior advocate that is most learned or must not know that they know law than any other person. No, I have done a case whereby before the client brought the case to my office, he has gone to 3SN, who told him he has no case. And when he came to my side, I said, no, there's a case here. There's something is missing in this judgment. And then we tested it in court, and I won the case. And he was before TTT, he has gone to 3SN before that. Where they tell him no, there's nothing we can do again. Because it was a consent judgment. So they say, there's nothing we can do again. And I look at it, I say, look, something is missing. Though there's a confirmation here that you are owing, but there's nothing in that judgment that says you should pay. And that was what I said. I said it's inquiry. And the court agreed with me that if I saw that anything to be done, it's a declaratory judgment. And for them to enforce it, they must go and find another case. And the court agreed. So for me, what I'm saying is that he has a legacy. There's some lawyers, they stand to their client's request. Okay. Whatever the interest of their client is where they will go. Some cannot give advice contrary to the interest of their client. And some will say, because some will think when they do otherwise, they won't be able to, they won't get paid. Well, they will see them as they don't know the law, or they don't know what to do, or they are not sharp. So some people prefer to just play along.
All right.
Some prefer to, yes, and we are not that kind of a lawyer. Okay. Like I said, I am not a supporter of the. In fact, I must tell you, what they did, the Senate wasn't proper. Okay. It was not in line with any law. There was no fair hearing. So, but that was notwithstanding. We're not talking about that one now. We're talking about the judgment on grant. Okay. So the judgment on grant did not give any authority to resume to the House, or at most the judgment gave the Senate.
All right, so Tunji, let's move on to another conversation so we don't overflog this. You know what happened on Friday where Peter Obi went to visit, I think, one of the nursing schools that to donate money. And, on Saturday, I think, was his birthday. And the governor came out to say, you need to take permission from me before you have access to my state, considering the fact that you're a very important figure. And whatever happens to you, you take it like that. The tone was actually more of a threat. Everyone took his tone in delivering that message as a threat because of the following words he used, like, you say, they give shishi, where you can't get 15 million naira to give. So that was basically what made a lot of people feel that the statement he made was malicious. It came from a malicious angle. Now, a lot of Nigerians had reacted, and say, okay, God's will, Okpebholo, Monday Okpebholo, you ought not to have spoken like that. Anyone can go to anywhere they want to go. Possibly because they feel like it's the time of the APC, so they can do things anyhow they want. A lot of backlash came on the APC, came on the people in the political party. But Wike has come out to defend what Okpebholo said, that you don't come to a state without notifying the governor because of security concerns. What if something happens to you and you know now that you're part of the coalition? So they would now say, okay, there was a planned, it was deliberate on your life. And he made reference to when he was the governor of Rivers, governor of Rivers State, and when Peter Obi wanted to come visit the state, he took permission and he provided logistics and protection. So how do you see this explanation? Although Wike went political by saying because of your coalition or whatever coalition that is dead on arrival and or whatnot. What's your take on this?
Mr. Wike, Mr. Okpebholo, they are talking politics. Mr. Wike, the scenario he painted, there are two different scenarios. Okay. And the time is that time that he said Obi was coming to the state, Obi wanted to come and campaign to seek his support to support him. There are two different things. So if I'm coming to seek for your support, I'm not informed you that I'm coming to see you. I'm not aware of any law in this country that says because you are former this or former that, you must when you are going to anywhere, you must contact. It is at the discretion, and the state has a responsibility as a governor to seek to give protection to everybody in a state.
Okay.
I'm not saying you should assign the police to him or whatever because he didn't tell him. The issue of security is a matter of for the governor to deal with in the state. So it is not known under our law that anybody when you are going to any state. How many politicians have informed the governor that I'm coming to your state? I'm very sure today that I was speaking. So many prominent politicians will have gone to that state today. How many people have informed him? So everybody must be telling him that.
Are you sure that a prior communication was not sent to any of the aide camp or security personnel of the governor of the state? I am just asking because when he also wanted to go to Benue, Barrister, hold on. When he wanted to also go to Benue, we heard that he actually sought the permission of the governor on several occasions, although the governor did not respond at the time. He wanted to visit one of the IDP camps. And I asked questions as, okay, places like IDP camps and all whatnot, you really need to get the permission of the governor of the state to do that. So if in this particular case...
Edo State was not, it wasn't an IDP camp. Edo State.
Okay.
They are not the same thing. They never are not the same thing. We are always confusing issues. The issue in Benue State, yes, because an IDP camp, there will be special security in that regard. There will be need for him to seek permission before going there because there is a special arrangement. This is not the case, yes. Like I said, for you to know that there was even a malicious statement and a political statement, he made reference to, he said, the gift city. Where did he get money?
Yeah.
How does that relate to him coming and security? How do they relate? And in fact, even misquoted Obi did not say doesn't have money. He said he doesn't give money for buying food. That's what he said.
Yeah.
They are not the gift city to buy food. He didn't say he doesn't have money. He did not say I'm a poor man. He said I don't give money to buy food. So I don't give shishi. So you know that I'm not a supporter of Mr. Peter Obi politically. That does not mean me. I don't say because I don't support you or whatever. Now when I see the right thing to say, I will not say it in my opinion. I will say it. This is political statement, and they are being mischievous with it. How many people will write to the governor that I'm coming to your state? Do you know how many PIP or PPIP that we have in this country that goes to everywhere every day? How many of them will contact the governor? How many will governor attend to? It is just a political statement. And it's unfortunate that these are the kind of people we have as our governors. They don't understand the meaning of what they are saying. And when they're not saying the say it finish, they'll not be looking for excuses and defense to justify it. Mr. Wike is just saying it just because, he's now a member of APC by association. Not by, and anything that has to do with the APC is good in his face. So for me, we should not encourage this kind of a statement from any governor, no matter what. Obi is in Nigeria, and it is at discretion to seek to inform a governor or anybody that I'm coming to your state if you like. So are you saying Obi has no privacy again? You can't go anywhere without your knowledge in your state because you are the governor in that state, and because he's a former presidential candidate. It is his choice. He has the discretion to either inform you or not to inform you. And if anything happens to him, he bears it. And if that thing that happened to him was due to your negligence, they will address it and say, look, it happened because this is what you are supposed to do that you not do. As a governor, you have the responsibility to provide security in your state. You have that responsibility, whether or not anybody is coming. It's your duty. So if you are saying you can't guarantee security in your state, you are saying you are failed as a governor. Because the responsibility of a governor under our constitution is that his government is just welfare and security. So if the governor is saying I can't guarantee your security, the governor is saying my state is not safe and I can't control it. So indirectly he's saying I have failed in my responsibility. Right. That is my own interpretation of it.
All right, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, thank you so much for being part of the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate you coming in to actually give us your insight on the stories read out.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. And just before we go, let's look at stories outside the shores of Nigeria, where Donald Trump has decried the bipartisan controversy over U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi's remarks that there was no evidence the late financier Jeffrey Epstein kept an incriminating list of his wealthy clients. He has called the issue a witch hunt and says the press and American citizens should instead look into unsubstantiated allegations of corruption he's leveling at the Democrats. Trump's appearance comes as the U.S. Department of Justice has asked to meet Ghislaine Maxwell. She was found guilty in 2022 of helping Epstein sexually abuse young girls. The president has said that only stupid people are still concerned with the case. Previously, Trump campaigned on releasing documents related to Epstein, including the so-called client list. And that's a wrap on the world news at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.